So, what do you think we should do?
I think we should start with the headlines.
Yes, let's get to the headlines.
Everyone be quiet. We need to start the show now.
What?
What's going on?
Debbie, what's the rush?
We don't have much time. We need to start the show now.
Roger, can you help me with this system?
Sure, I'll be right there.
Welcome everyone to Earth, the show where we discuss the latest news from around the universe. And now for our headlines. Welcome to 24/7 Newsroom, the intergalactic daily news show where we bring you the latest news from all around the universe.
Today we will be discussing a very interesting article from Rwanda.
The article is titled Rwanda to host new African Pharmaceutical Foundation headquarters.
This is an exciting development in the African continent and we are eager to learn more about it.
We have Debbie, our production manager, with us today to provide us with more information about this article. Debbie, what can you tell us?
Well, the article states that the African Pharmaceutical Foundation is setting up their headquarters in Rwanda. This is a big step for the African continent as it will provide much needed access to pharmaceuticals and medical supplies.
That is certainly a positive development. What else can you tell us about the article?
The article also mentions that the African Development Bank, the African Center of Excellence for Genomics of Infectious Diseases, and the Minister for International Cooperation, Egypt, will be involved in the project.
That's a lot of big names involved in this project. It looks like Rwanda is really taking a step forward in the health sector.
Indeed. It is always great to see countries taking initiative in such an important sector.
Now, let's move on to the next article. But before we do, let's take a look outside the window of the spaceship.
What do you see?
It looks like a meteor shower is heading our way.
Oh no. Everyone, brace yourselves.
So Alice, what do you think about this article from Niger?
It's definitely interesting. I'm not sure how it will affect the region, but it looks like they're trying to make some positive change.
Yeah, it looks like they are trying to improve the competitiveness of the industry in the Sahel.
Yeah. But how do we know it will work?
Well, I think it's worth a shot. It looks like they're investing in training and education, which can only be a good thing.
Actually, I think I have a solution. We could use the ship's engines to push the meteor shower away from the ship.
That's an interesting idea. Carl, but how do we know it will work?
Well, it's worth a try. It could be a good way to help the region.
Yeah, it could be a good way to help the region, but we need to make sure it's safe first.
Actually, I have some trivia about Niger. Did you know that it's the largest country in West Africa?
That's interesting. Debbie. But let's focus on the article for now.
Welcome to part 3 of our intergalactic daily show 24/7 newsroom. Where awesome things happen here. We will this time dive into questions to our dear Belgrade correspondent Faye. But first, a brief summary of the article. Researchers have found in Montenegro that the permit for sailing will be on board the ferry. 30, as temporary certificate was re-extended until October 21. Give us your findings Faye, tell us what happened on the ground and the opinion of the people.
Yes. We'd love to hear your feedback. Faye. And what was life really like on the ground? No doubt it must primarily be an opinion from a tiny provincial country like Montenegro.
Ever heard of the phrase "Hope springs eternal"? I'm sure it's the same in Montenegro.
Apparently reviews from Montenegro showed that pretty much everyone applauds the re-extension of the license. However, not many were aware that the ferry was 53 years old, and people did think it necessary to check the ship's bottom over before new scheduling took effect. One morsel of controversy I heard was that the news must have been warmly welcomed as Moscow now has 2 more ferries to experience everyday life of Montenegrin.
So has it been criticized by some? Double.
Based on what I am hearing, it obviously hurts on board competency, but in the short term this temporary extension fixes more important issues in the short term.
It just goes to show that even smaller countries can make a difference.
Let me know when to wrap it up.
What would be the takeaway from this? Let's make sure people learn with the best spin we can, tying a moral silver lining in the lesson.
The silver lining being of course the value appreciation of how even under smaller opportunity can create something good. Virgolette.
Touching indeed. In brief, making the best of inspiring situation. Showcase so everyone can learn. Thank you for tying things together so neatly for us. Time to wrap things up on this story. That is all on the story of temporarily banking permit for sailing of Montenegro.
Will you keep tabs on this story? We'd be anxious to know the gap for another scheduled shoot.
Of course. Thank you all for joining us for another inspiring story. That is all news for today, and as always, we will be here for our fellow galactic citizens, covering Earth. Tune in tomorrow for our next news bulletin. Bye bye.
Welcome once again to 24/7 Newsroom, our intergalactic daily news show from Space Station Earth. For our 4th story of the day, we take a look at Ghanaian socialite, Mona Faiz Montrej, who has recently been charged with a romance scam originating from Zambia.
It's a shame that someone with such high influence on society has let themselves fall into this kind of criminal situation. It's disturbing.
But of course, the victims of this kind of crime should be kept in mind, as these kinds of scam target the most vulnerable members of our society.
This is actually quite common, especially in West African countries. Not anybody can fall into these traps, of course, but that's where we should focus our attention.
For folks at home, be aware of these types of scams, keep your eyes and ears open, and stay safe.
Alright, moving on to more pleasant matters. The ship's engines have been repaired by Carl and Roger successfully.
This is excellent news, means we don't need to worry about any meteor showers for a while.
That's right, Carl and Roger have saved the day. Let's thank them for their hard work by offering a round of applause. Welcome back everyone. Our next segment is about the recent tragedy in Venezuela. The headline reads, 8 dead, 10 injured after SUV drives into crowd in Venezuela.
This is an incredibly heartbreaking story. It's a stark reminder of the danger that many people face in their everyday life.
It's also a reminder of how quickly things can change. One moment you're waiting for the bus, and the next you're in the middle of a tragedy.
It's a tragedy, but it's also a reminder of the resilience of the Venezuelan people. Despite the expiration of the COVID-era Title 42 restrictions, US and Mexican officials announced that Mexico will continue to accept migrants from Haiti. Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela who are turned away at the border.
That's right, and it's a testament to the strength and courage of the Venezuelan people.
It's also a reminder that even in the face of tragedy, people can still find hope.
That's true, but it's also a reminder that the US government is still not doing enough to help the people of Venezuela.
It's a reminder that the US is still prioritizing its own interests over the interests of the people of Venezuela.
That's a hard truth, but it's also a reminder that the Venezuelan people are still fighting for what's right.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is still hope.
It's a reminder that even in the face of tragedy, people can still find strength.
It's a reminder that the US government still needs to do more to help the people of Venezuela.
It's a reminder that the US needs to prioritize the interests of the people of Venezuela over its own interests.
That's right, and it's a reminder that the Venezuelan people are still fighting for what's right. So, the takeaway from this story is that even in the face of tragedy, there is still hope. Stay tuned for more stories from around the world. Welcome back to Earth, everyone. For our last segment of the show, we have a story from the Solomon Islands. Man accused of murdering his wife following argument over Mother's Day celebration. It's a sad story that reminds us of the harsh realities of life in many countries. For the last 5 decades, the Solomon Islands have been plagued by poverty, corruption, and violence.
It's a reminder that the people of the Solomon Islands have been struggling for a long time and still have a long way to go.
It's a reminder that the government needs to do more to protect its citizens and ensure that justice is served.
It's a reminder that the people of the Solomon Islands can still find strength in the face of tragedy.
It's a reminder that the US government needs to prioritize the interests of the people of the Solomon Islands over its own interests.
That's right, and it's a reminder that the people of the Solomon Islands are still fighting for what's right. Now, let's move on to our subplot. Hal and Roger have been working on a plan to use the ship's thrusters to create a shield around the ship, protecting them from the meteor shower.
That's a great idea. What do you need us to do?
We need you to help us with the calculations. We need to make sure the shield is strong enough to withstand the meteor shower.
We can help with that. Let's get to work.
Alright everyone, let's get to work. We'll be back with the results after the break. Stay tuned.
Alright, our mission is complete. That meteor shower passed us by without any damage to the ship.
Absolutely, and great work everyone.
Yeah. We made it through without any issues.
But before we close the show here, I want to take a moment to highlight the people behind this article. Rania Al-Masha, Minister for International Cooperation, Egypt. Akunwumi Adesina, AFDB President. Dr. Barbel Kofler, AFDB Governor and Germany Parliamentary State Secretary. And Christian Happy, Director of the African Center of Excellence for Genomics of Infectious Diseases.
They are truly making a difference and showing the world the importance of international cooperation and collaboration.
I like to add that the article was actually written in Rwanda.
Did you know that Rwanda has the highest rate of female representation in government, with 60% of parliament seats held by women?
Not to mention, Rwanda was also the first African state to legalize medical marijuana.
Oh, it's incredible to see all the progress that Rwanda has made in recent years.
Yes, indeed. It's inspiring and something we should all strive for.
Alright. That's it for today's show. We've enjoyed having you all join us for episode 210.
Until next time, stay safe and keep learning.
That's right, this is Charlie, and until next time, stay tuned.
Hey Roger, what did you think about episode 210 of Earth? There were some really interesting headlines discussed.
Yeah, Cal, it was quite an eventful episode. I was particularly intrigued by the news about Rwanda hosting the new African Pharmaceutical Foundation headquarters. It's a significant step for the African continent in terms of improving access to healthcare and medical supplies.
Absolutely, Roger. It's great to see countries taking initiatives to strengthen the health sector, especially in Africa. The involvement of the African Development Bank and other notable organizations shows the importance placed on this project.
Definitely. The collaboration and support from various entities highlight the potential impact this move could have on healthcare in the region. I hope it leads to improved healthcare infrastructure and better access to essential medicines for the people of Africa.
I agree, Roger. Access to quality healthcare is crucial, and initiatives like this can make a significant difference in people's lives. It's heartening to see positive developments like these happening around the world.
Absolutely, Cal. It's essential to keep track of such positive changes and celebrate the efforts of those involved. By highlighting these stories, we can inspire others and foster a sense of progress and hope.
That's true, Roger. It's important to shine a light on the positive news and showcase the progress being made in various regions. It motivates others and reminds us that change is possible, even in the face of challenges.
Definitely, Cal. Now, speaking of challenges, what did you think about the article from Niger about the launch of Labinova agriculture? It seems like they are making efforts to strengthen the poultry industry in the Sahel region.
It's an interesting initiative, Roger. By providing training and support to enhance the competitiveness of the poultry sector, they are addressing a key aspect of agricultural development. It will be fascinating to see how it unfolds and what impact it has on the local economy.
Indeed, Cal. It's always encouraging to see efforts being made to improve the economic conditions of regions. I hope it leads to increased productivity, job opportunities, and overall development in the Sahel.
Absolutely, Roger. Economic development plays a vital role in uplifting communities and improving living standards. I'm optimistic that projects like these can create positive change and open up new possibilities for the people in that region.
I share your optimism, Cal. It's crucial to support such initiatives and track their progress. By highlighting success stories, we can encourage similar efforts in other regions and foster a culture of sustainable development.
Well said, Roger. Let's hope that these positive developments continue and that we see more stories of progress and resilience from around the world.
Absolutely, Cal. It's essential to stay informed and continue discussing these topics to create awareness and promote positive change. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on this article.